Yo creo que podíamos distraerlo de las dos maneras. ¿Qué ojos más bonitos tienes?
Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink.
No se bebe más. Francis Sanders. Francis Sanders conocía a Sarah Hawkins y de hecho la acusó de ser la responsable de su sufrimiento. Se sacó los ojos con sus propias manos y luego cubrió de símbolos esotéricos las paredes de su celda. Parecía obsesionado con un vagabundo relacionado con Sarah Hawkins. Murió delante de mis narices en circunstancias que soy incapaz de explicar. Estoy en la mansión de nuevo. Se escuchan muy flojas las voces.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day's only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there, with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
¿Qué hacemos? No contamos, sí contamos. No contamos, sí contamos. Sí contamos, no contamos.
He's right. We can't ignore the
Sí
truth.
contamos. Sí
But
contamos.
it could drive her mad.
Better madness than ignorance. Very well. I'll go to
Oh,
see
no.
Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my
Te
best.
explico por qué toma esa decisión. El marido ya está muerto. O estaba en el manicomio de por vida o está muerto. Está muerto. Vamos ahí con esperanza de no, que esto y que lo otro. Mejor decirle, mira, tu marido está muerto y ha sido culpa de la loca esta. Cuéntame todo lo que sepa, que yo voy a investigar sobre ella. Y ahora cuenta todo lo que sabe. Si no se
Let
calla
us
la
go
boca.
now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Pero ¿por qué no le ha preguntado a este por qué no estás muertos? Bueno, capítulo 6. Residencia de los Sanders.
What can I do for you, sir?
Esta mujer no lo
Mrs.
quiere.
Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins.
Esta mujer se la pela, ¿eh?
You may.
La billeta, amor peco.
However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Told you, mamá huevazo.
Look who's here.
¿Qué te pasa con esos ojos de loca?
You know each other. Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me. You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene.
No, que me vas a alterar las pruebas, ¿vale?
Very well, Miss Baker.
Mira.
This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable.
Esta tía está feliz porque ya tiene la herencia.
To tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that.
Me pone muy nerviosa de esto afectará tu destino, en positivo o en negativo.
Understand. How could this happen in a reputed institute? And right before your eyes.
¿La he cagado o no la he
Did you
cagado?
not do anything to help him?
So ask Fuller, he's the eminent doctor. But I would caution you, you'll find his treatments more terrifying than the illnesses he sets out to cure.
That churl no longer takes the trouble to receive me. He
Está en
sends his
positivo con
secretary
ella.
to tell me that I
100%.
cannot see Francis. Me. His own widow. He must think that I am a terrible wife for having abandoned him in such a way. But I only wanted what was best for him.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Mierda.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can't imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to
Tiene
lose.
un ojo a la pirulé.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long. Did she really care for him after all?
Estimada señora, por la presente acuso el recibo de la carta en la que nos exige el cuerpo de su fallecido marido. Siento informarle de que no puedo dar cumplimiento a su petición. En el momento de su ingreso firmó usted un documento de descargo donde me otorgaba permiso para disponer de él. Pero qué hijo de la chingada. Le transmito mis máximas condolencias. Thomas Fuller, o sea, ha hecho lo que ha querido con él, está todo reventado y ahora se lo queda para experimentar.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives. Frances Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close.
La mujer estaba
Friends,
celosa
even?
seguro.
A house of artists.
¿Ya está? House of Artists.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel? Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Hombre, tendría que hacerlo de lo del marido. Seguro. ¿Por qué grita? Turbio. Buenas.
Shambler. I need to see it.
La casa del tío este. El segundo volumen de esta serie cubre toda clase de temas, de la gangrena gaseosa a la nefritis de las trincheras, además de unos estudios tan precisos como detallados. Presenta algunas tesis realmente innovadoras debido a su extraordinaria complejidad. Es una obra reservada para lectores expertos. Esta es la única manera de progresar con medicina. No sé si lo he dicho ya. No me quiero dejar nada por aquí. Cerrado. Que se pueda pasear por la casa por la cara. Está gracioso, la verdad. Por aquí comunica. No sé si tengo algo que ver de aquí. No. Nada.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Recordamos que estamos en los años 30. Entonces las películas se tienen que reproducir así. La perra mala esta está aquí. Disertación sobre cuestiones anatómicas. Esta es la obra de un estudiante en forma de libro, aunque las observaciones que contiene son relevantes, evidencia una falta de experiencia impropia de un profesional de la medicina. Sin embargo, su planteamiento nos permite concebir nuevas formas de explorar la anatomía humana. Vale, está la tía esta aquí.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
Un quitasueño parece, ¿no? La ballena y el frío. Una historia breve de Darkwater, por Erwan Greenmouth. Se centra en la pasada gloria de la isla.
I could use one of those.
Están todos con pastillas para no mí. Me voy a tener que comprar yo también pastillas para no mí. Me hacen falta.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Querido Francis, te suplico que renuncies a la idea de poseer... Cojones. De poseer este maldito cuadro. Si en algo valoras nuestra amistad, líbrame del peso de esa culpa. Me niego a ser la responsable de tu caída. Te lo suplico, mi querido amigo. Olvídate del vagabundo. Tu amiga Sarah Hawkins.
An old diary.
Este volumen dedica bastante atención a la comunidad del reverendo Wickwood. Su esposa expresa su preocupación sobre los extraños sueños que aquejan a la congregación desde su llegada a la isla. Algunos de sus miembros, incluido su marido, empezaron a hablar de sus visiones como si las enviara el mismo Dios. Ella teme que puedan sufrir el mismo destino que la tribu perdida. Manda un logro, será por... Está pillando 27.000 millones de libros. Toma. Llave de la galería de Sanders. ¿Leería el libro? Vamos que lo leo. Una especie de enciclopedia de criaturas monstruosas y desconocidas. Empiezo a pensar que existen. ¡Uy! ¡El diablo! Hemos subido un punto. Vale, estas dos se mejoran solas. 6 puntos para esta. ¿Cuál debería mejorar luego? Estas están en 40. Debería... un punto, 6... O sea, 5 puntos para el siguiente de esta. Y me hago ya profesional de esa. No sé, ya veremos. Yo creo que la de percepción tendríamos que irme. Me cago en todo, que siempre me olvido. El cerebro psicología es para convencer a la gente de algo, ¿no? No tiene que ver con, yo qué sé, con no volverse loco cuando está escondido.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Uy,
Some can be
vosotros
more
vaya liar.
fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
No es asunto suyo. No creo que haya que ir mal con él. Probar elocuencia. ¿Qué hago? ¿Cuál de las dos? Esta es de elocuencia. Esta es solo hablarle. ¿Y si no la convence?
Another painting by Sarah Hawkins. One connected to the horrors I've discovered on this island.
What a surprise. I'm listening.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on
Es
business.
que depende.
Irene asked me to liquidate
Si
all
lo tengo
these paintings.
suficiente a tope o no.
She doesn't intend to hang around
Y la
here for
elocuencia no la
long.
está subiendo, la verdad.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
La tía es contrabandista. ¿Dónde vas?
Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder.
Bueno, pues vamos allá. La galería del tío. Aquí hay cositas. Esto para esconderte. Malo, malo, ¿eh? ¿Por qué habría aquí un sitio para esconderte? Chulito. Vale. Vamos a ir poco a poco.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times. The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
Tenemos que ir al cuadro ese del medio. Pero voy a ver si... Por cierto, vengo de aquí.
The public entrance to the gallery. Why was he so interested in old weapons?
Estaba re loco. Uy, ahí hay algo. Solo. Vale, pues... creo que poco más. Vamos a ir al infierno. Acabas de ver un tío que se ha muerto por mirar la pinturita. Te va a pillar. Que se cae dentro de la pintura algo raro. ¡El diablo! Me va a pillar, probablemente perdamos, aquí un par de veces morpeco. Pero no ve. Olerá o sentirá el movimiento. Ver no ve.
What the hell was that?
Estoy muy nerviosa.
That thing came out of this painting. There has to
Me dio.
be destroyed.
Tengo que destruirlo. Mátalo. Vale, ¿cómo lo destruimos? ¿Cómo lo destruimos? Yo supongo... A ver, yo le echaría aceite, ¿no? Aceite y le prendo fuego. Sí, yo haría eso.
Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Daga de forma torturada con todo detalle. Tortura. Madre. ¡Gole, gole, gole, gole! No sé dónde está la daga. No me acuerdo. Y eso que las he mirado, ¿eh? ¿Tú te acuerdas dónde estaba esa daga?
Damn. This dagger looks different.
¡No me pilla, no 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 me pilla! Corta la mano, corta la mano, corta la mano, corta la mano. ¡Ay, qué feo! ¡Ay, qué te come! ¡Qué feíto! Se te engangrena la mano, ¿eh? No, 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 no.
What's the matter with you? You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Dime cuál de beber.
It's nothing. I think I just drank too much.
That goes without saying. If you can't tell the difference between reality and fiction, then you're in real trouble.
¿El medio?
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
It's not your style to give me free information like that.
Take it as payment for being my canary. A simple trade-off. Now go see your antique seller. I still got things to settle with Irene.
Lo usaba él para ver lo que pasaba con el cuadro. A mí está todo loca esa, ¿eh?